Hello, welcome back.
We're going to do another book review.
Yay, what are we going to review this time?
I got this book from my birthday. Actually, it was together with the Holes book.
Right, you got a few books for your birthday, didn't you?
Yeah, I got a set of 3 from my mom.
That's awesome.
And they're all from different authors, but they're all good books. I haven't read the third one yet, but I just finished this one and Holes.
Yeah, you just finished this one last night, right?
Yeah.
This is a pretty well-known book. I've heard of it a lot. I've never actually read this book before, so you'll have to tell me all about it.
So, yeah, it's a pretty good book. At the back cover, hold on, the pages are kind of shaking. There we go. See, this has a yearling award, and here's a bunch of other books that have that award. It's on here, right here, and Holes is actually on here too, right here.
So if you haven't watched our review of Holes, you should go back and look at it. That was our last one we did, right?
Yeah.
Episode 32?
Yeah.
No, 33.
33.
33, episode 33. Huh, interesting. Hey, look, Nate the Great's on there too.
Yeah, I saw that.
We've done a review of Nate the Great before.
Yep.
Oh, cool. All right, well, you ready to talk about this book?
Yeah. I like it a lot. It's about a boy and his 2 dogs. It shows that in the picture. And it says at the top of the cover, you see there at the top there's a little stuff. There's little words. A timeless classic about a boy and his dogs. So, and that is what it is. It's a timeless classic about a boy and his dog.
You made me laugh, now I'm coughing. Okay, so it's a timeless classic about a boy and his dogs.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we know.
Yes.
And you read this entire book, and that's all you got.
No.
Tell me about it.
More.
What the heck happened in this book? I have no information.
So it actually it's just 20 chapters. It's just thick books, and the chapters are long, but they go by quickly. Like, it's fast.
Because it's compelling. Like, you want to read them really a lot.
Yeah.
Oh.
The first chapter and the last few paragraphs of the last chapter actually take place when this boy is an adult. And the rest of the book is all his sharing his memories.
Oh, so it's set in the past from where the boy is a grown up and telling about what happened to him when he was young.
Yeah.
I see. So what happened to him when he was young? Where do these dogs come from?
Well, he wants dogs. He wants 2 good hunting hounds. That's what he wants. But he comes from a poor family. They live on a farm in the Ozarks.
Actually, while Joey is telling me this, it's funny. There happens to be a dog right here. There's Paul, the guest star in our book review. So he wanted to hear more about the book too. Okay, so back to it. Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah, so he wants the boy. His name's Billy, by the way.
Okay.
He wants dogs, and not just any dogs. He wants hunting hounds, good hunting hounds.
Oh, okay.
But he comes from a poor family who lives on a farm in the Ozarks. And
okay. Where do you know where the Ozarks are?
Not exactly. I know they're somewhere.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. We'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, we'll have to delete it, but they might be in Arkansas?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to find out. I'm going to find out. You keep talking. I'm going to find out.
Well, so they can't actually buy the dog since they don't have enough money. So they want dogs, but they don't have enough money. So there's this. But this one time, Billy waded across the river to a fisherman's camp and saw a dropped newspaper article that says that there's an ad on there that says there's dogs for sale at a place in the nearest town, which isn't that close because the city is pretty far away from the rural farms. But there is a sale for dogs, which meant that Billy could get his 2 hunting hounds for only $50.
Which is a lot of money for them, right? But it's possible.
Yes.
How does he get money?
Well, he makes traps for coons. That's what he hunts. I'm actually not sure what coon is.
I think it's short for a raccoon.
Yeah, but I'm not sure about that because everyone in the story calls them coons. Even the more formal people, they all call them coons, and they say that they're brownish orange.
Oh, interesting.
So they might be some other animal. I'm not sure what coons are.
I'm not sure either. I did find out that the Ozark Mountains are in the Mid-South, including Arkansas and Missouri. So, and some other states too. So that's good. I was right. Okay, so where did we leave off in our description? I was listening, but he found the ad. He's trying to save up some money.
So he uses traps to catch coons and sells their skins at his grandpa's shop. His grandpa owns a shop, a small shop.
Okay. Like a general store that sells all kinds of different stuff?
And he also gives vegetables and fruits to fishermen camping across the river.
Okay. Awesome.
So it took 2 years, but he finally got $50.
Wow. 2 years of saving?
Yeah, he stored it all in an old KC baking powder can.
Interesting. That's good detail the author included, right?
Uh-huh.
Is the author very descriptive in the writing?
Yeah.
So is that what makes it interesting to read?
Mm-hmm. And it keeps me going. It's fast. I don't want to stop reading it.
That fast pace draws you into the story.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he goes to his grandpa's shop to order the pups, and he actually gets the order is good, it gets done.
Okay.
But he has to wait a few weeks, and he doesn't want to do that. He wants to get his pups now. And by now, he means now.
Well, after 2 years of waiting, right?
Yeah. So he actually packs up some stuff and goes to that city.
Wow, he goes himself?
Yeah, by himself.
Wow.
He gets his dogs. Does get his dogs, and then he does try find a schoolhouse and there's some kids doing their recess thing, and once and there's this big tube sticking out of the school, and some of the other kids play in it. So once the kids are gone, he decides to play with it, and he just shoots, but he loses his grip when he's climbing up, and he falls and like shoots out the end of the tube with his belly down.
Really?
Yeah.
So he just shoots right out the end?
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
And then he goes home. Over the night, he finds a cave for shelter and stays there. And he does get attacked by a mountain lion.
Oh my gosh.
I know. But they were able to get rid of it and spend the night in the cave.
Okay.
Then they went home.
And the new dogs are young, right?
Yeah, they're young. And he tells his family all about it and about the slide, about the tube, and not how he went out of the tube.
That's probably a good call. Paul's really excited by this story. He's like right into it.
Yeah, so he doesn't need his traps anymore. He hunts coons with his hounds, and over time they become really, really good. And at the end, they're the best in the valley.
Wow.
That's what they say.
That's amazing. And there was challenges, like local people challenged them, and then there was a competition. We don't want to give too much away, right, with the story. We want people to be interested in reading it.
It has some of the more important hunts. There's sometimes where the dogs got in trouble, like the one got stuck in a hole and the other one got stuck in freezing water this other time.
Oh my gosh.
But
that's scary.
They all get out fine.
Oh, good.
And there's this time. There are some scary and sad parts in there.
Oh, right. You were telling me about the sad part.
Uh-huh. There's also a kind of scary part.
But that kind of makes it exciting, right? Because you don't know exactly what's going to happen.
Uh-huh. But after the scary part, though, there's a big competition to win a big gold cup if your dog trees and you skin the most coons out of all the dogs in the competition.
So that's like the climax of the movie? Or the book, sorry. The climax of the book is the competition?
Uh-huh. Then after that, there's a sad part, but then that's like chapter 19, the second to last chapter. There are 20 chapters, as I said. Then chapter 20, something good happens.
And that's the first and only time they talk about the red fern, right?
Yeah.
So that's where the book title comes from. So if you want to learn that, you've got to read right to the end.
Uh-huh.
So do we want to read a little bit of this?
Sure. There are bad words in it, though.
Well, we'll skip over those.
Uh-huh. I'll bleep them out.
Okay. Are there a lot of bad words in this book?
Not really, but like some of the old people.
Yeah.
Say old characters say bad words in the quote.
I see.
1. And this is part of like when he's an adult. When I left my office that beautiful spring day, I had no idea what was in store for me. To begin with, everything was too perfect for anything unusual to happen. It was one of those days where a man feels good, feels like speaking to his neighbor, is glad to live in a country like ours, and proud of his government. You know what I mean, one of those rare days where everything is right and nothing is wrong. I was walking along whistling when I heard the dog fight. At first I paid no attention to it. After all, it wasn't anything to get excited about, just another dog fight in a residential section. As the sound of the fight grew nearer, I could tell that there were quite a few dogs mixed up in it. They boiled out of an alley, turned and headed straight towards me. Not wanting to get bitten or run over, I moved to the edge of the sidewalk. I could see that all the dogs were fighting one. About 25 feet from me, they caught him and down he went. I felt sorry for the unfortunate one. I knew if something wasn't done quickly, the sanitation department would have to pick up a dead dog.
Oh my.
I was trying to make up my mind to help when I got a surprise. Up out of that snarling, growling, slashing mess reared an old red-bone hound. For a second I saw him. I caught my breath. I couldn't believe what I had seen. Twisting and slashing, he fought his way through the pack and backed up under the low branches of a hedge. Growling and snarling, they formed a half-moon circle around him. A big bird dog, bolder than the others, darted in. The hedge shook and as he tangled with the hound. He came out so fast he fell over backwards. I saw that his right ear was split wide open. It was too much for him, and he took off down the street, squalling like a scalded cat. A big, ugly cur tried his luck. He didn't get off so easy. He came out with his left shoulder laid open to the bone.
Oh my gosh.
He sat down on his rear and let the world know that he had been hurt. By this time, my fighting blood was boiling. It's hard for a man to stand and watch an old hound fight against such odds, especially if that man has memories in his heart like I had in mine. I had seen the time when an old hound like that had given his life so that I might live. Taking off my coat, I waded in. But my yelling and scolding didn't have much effect, but the swinging coat did. The dog scattered and left. Down on my knees, I peered back under the hedge. The hound was still mad. He growled at me and showed his teeth. I knew it wasn't his nature to fight a man. In a soft voice, I started talking to him. "Come on, boy," I said. "It's all right. I'm your friend. Come on now." The fighting fire slowly left his eyes. He bowed his head, and his long red tail started thumping the ground. I kept coaxing. On his stomach, an inch at a time, he came to me and laid his head in my hand. I almost cried at what I saw. His coat was dirty and mud-caked. His skin was stretched, drummed tight over his bony frame. The knotty joints of his hips and shoulders stood out a good 3 inches from his body. I could tell he was starved. I couldn't figure it out. He didn't belong in town. He was far outplaced with the boxers, poodles, bird dogs, and other breeds of town dogs. He belonged in the country. He was a hunting hound. I raised one of his paws. There I read the story. The pads were worn down slick as the rind on an apple. I knew he had come a long way and no doubt had a long way to go. Around his neck was a crude collar. On closer inspection, I saw it had been made from a piece of check-line leather. 2 holes had been punched in each, and the ends were laced together with baling wire. As I turned the collar with my finger, I saw something else. There, scratched deep into the tough leather, was the name Buddy. I guess that the crude, scribbly letters had probably been written by a little boy. It's strange indeed how memories can lie dormant in a man's mind for so many years. Yet those memories can be awakened and brought forth fresh and new just by something you've seen or something you've heard or the sight of an old familiar face. What I saw in the warm gray eyes of the friendly old hound brought back wonderful memories. To show my gratitude, I took hold of his collar and said, "Come on, boy, let's go home and get something to eat." He seemed to understand that he had found a friend. He came willingly. I gave him a bath and rubbed all the soreness from his muscles. He drank quarts of warm milk and ate all the meat I had in the house. I hurried down to the store and bought more. He ate until he was satisfied. He slept all night and most of the next day. Late in the afternoon, he grew restless. I told him I understood, and as soon as it was dark, he could be on his way. I figured he had a much better chance if he left town at night. That evening, a little after sundown, I opened the back gate. He walked out, stopped, and turned around and looked at me. He thanked me by wagging his tail. With tears in my eyes, I said, "You're more than welcome, old fellow. In fact, you could have stayed here as long as you wanted to." He whined and licked my hand. I was wondering which way he would go. With one final whimper, he turned and headed east. I couldn't help smiling as I watched him trot down the alley. I noticed the way his hindquarters shifted over to the right, never in line with the front, yet always in perfect rhythm. His long ears flopped up and down, keeping time with the jogging motion of his body. Yes, they were all there, the unmistakable marks of a hunting hound. Where the alley emptied into the street, he stopped and looked back. I waved my hand. As I watched him disappear into the twilight shadows, I whispered these words, "Goodbye, old fellow. Good luck and good hunting." I didn't have to let him go. I could have kept him in my backyard, but to pen up a dog like that is a sin. It would have broken his heart. The will to live would have slowly left his body. I had no idea where he had come from or where he was going. Perhaps it wasn't too far, or maybe it was a long, long way. I tried to make myself to believe that his home was in the Ozark Mountains somewhere in Missouri or Oklahoma. It wasn't impossible, even though it was a long way from the Snake River Valley in Idaho. I figured something drastic must have happened in his life, and as it is very unusual for a hound to be traveling all alone. Perhaps he had been stolen, or maybe he had been sold for some much-needed money. Whatever it is that had interrupted his life, he was trying to straighten it out. He was going home to the master he loved, and with the help of God, he would make it. To him it made no difference how long the road or how rough or rocky. His old feet would keep jogging along, on and on, mile after mile. There would be no crying or giving up. When his feet grew tired and weary, he would curl up in the weeds and rest. Water from a rainfall or a mountain stream would quench his thirst and cool his hot, dry throat. Food found along the highway or the offering from a friendly hand would ease the pangs of hunger. Through the rains, the snows, or the desert heat, he would jog along, never looking back. Some morning he would be found curled up on the front porch. The long journey would be over. He would be home. There would be a lot of tail wagging and a few whimpering cries. His warm, moist tongue would caress the head of his master. All would be forgiven. Once again the lights would shine in his dog's world. His heart would be happy. After my friend had disappeared in the darkness, I stood and stared at the empty alley. A strange feeling came over me. At first I thought I was lonely or sad, but I realized that wasn't it at all. The feeling was a wonderful one. Although the old hand had no way of knowing it, he had stirred memories, and what priceless treasures they were. Memories of my boyhood days, an old KC baking powder can, and 2 little red hounds. Memories of a wonderful love, unselfish devotion, and death in its saddest form. As I turned to enter my yard, I started to lock the gate, and then I thought, no, I'll leave it open. He might come back. I was halfway to the house when a cool breeze drifted down from the rugged Tetons. It had a bite in it, and goose pimples jumped out on my skin. I stopped at the woodshed and picked up several sticks of wood. I didn't turn on any lights on entering the house. The dark, quiet atmosphere was the perfect setting for the mood I was in. I built a fire in the fireplace and pulled up my favorite rocker. As I sat there in silence, the fire grew larger. It crackled and popped. Firelight shadows began to shimmer and dance around the room. The warm, comfortable heat felt good. I struck a match to light my pipe. As I did, 2 beautiful cups gleamed from the mantel. I held the match up so I could get a better look. There they were, sitting side by side. One was large with long upright handles that stood out like wings on a morning dove. The highly polished surface gleamed and glistened with a golden sheen. The other was smaller and made of silver. It was neat and trim and sparkled like a white star in the heavens. I got up and took them down. There was a story in those cups, a story that went back more than a half century. As I caressed the smooth surfaces, my mind drifted back through the years, back to my boyhood days. How wonderful the memories were. Piece by piece, the story unfolded.
Wow.
It starts out in chapter 2 that it's when he's a man and he's like explaining like he's telling about the disease of puppy love.
Oh.
The wonderful disease of puppy love.
Okay, what is that?
I think that's just how the author wrote for just wanting a puppy really bad, like a dog or something.
Right. Well, we are way over time for this, so we'll have to wrap it up. So let's give it its rating. What do you think of this book?
Well, there is a sad part and a scary part and bad words, but like other than the bad words and everything, I give it a pretty high rating.
What do you rate it?
Like around 4.5 range.
Out of 5?
5, yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty high.
Yeah. So like 9 out of 10?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
That's 9 out of 10.
9 quacks out of 10 possible quacks?
Yes.
That's pretty good. That's really high. It's one of your highest ratings. So you really like this book.
Yeah.
Who do you think would like to read this book? Who do you think would be the target audience?
Dog fans?
People who like dogs?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're a cat person, but you like dogs too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anybody who likes dogs will like this book. That's what you're telling me.
Uh-huh. And also, like, adventure and, like, hunting and stuff.
Okay. Hunters might like it, and people who like reading adventure stories. You said they had to battle, like, a mountain lion in a cave?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that sounds exciting.
And the cups that said in chapter 1 were, like, those award golden cups.
Oh. So it comes all the way back around at the end.
Uh-huh. In that competition I was saying.
Yeah. All right. Anything else before we sign off?
Not really. Just look out for the bad words. And other than that, it's a pretty good book. I recommend it to a lot of people.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.